Rant number 7. This is going to be things that I'm talking about in the UFC that I disagree with or I'm just annoyed about. Going in there first of all with Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker has just really annoyed me recently. Just with the comments he's making, he has no reason to be doing the things he's done. First of all, he accused Islam of doing suspicious acts. I think it was like IVF or steroids or something. And he said he has a receipt for showing that Islam cheated against Volk and him. He's been saying this since February and we still haven't got any proof of it. So you can't just go around accusing people with no proof. It just seems like he's really salty. On top of that, he's gone and called Tony Ferguson a disrespect. Like, he's basically said that Tony Ferguson versus him would be disrespectful to him. Dan, do you not realise you are the human highlight reel, but not for a good reason? Justin Gaethje's the human highlight reel because he's fun. You're the human highlight reel because you always get fucking finished. You go out there, you get battered by... in fact, I'll give you respect for the Poirier fight. It was a bit of back and forth. It wasn't like you were getting annihilated, but you were getting battered. Then you get knocked the fuck out against Michael Chandler in his debut, backflipped over your twitching corpse. And I think he picked up a win after that fight, but it was like a 5-round unanimous decision. Then you go and fight Arnold Allen. I think it was in that order anyway. You fight Arnold Allen, get steamrolled in 1 round. Then it's Islam Makhachev. I don't know if Islam was before or after Allen, but then you fight Islam Makhachev, get taken down and your arm nearly gets broken in the first round. Then you get a win over Claudio Puelles. That is not a win that you should be happy about. Did you see the way he was on the floor, gliding towards you like a slug? You should not be celebrating. That wasn't a win. That was not a win, Dan Hooker. He's been talking. He has no right to be talking to people like this when he's the human highlight reel for a bad reason. And he can, like, he's been losing to all these top contenders. Tony Ferguson's been losing as well. You know, he's been getting... He got knocked out by Michael Chandler the same way you did. You know, in fact, he got submitted by Nate Diaz, which is even worse. But Dan Hooker's been talking like he's on this massive, crazy winning streak. Bro, you're barely surviving in the UFC. You are the definition of a journeyman. You're nothing but a journeyman. The only reason you're as big as you are is because you hang around with Volkanovski and Adesanya. That's it. You're nothing but a journeyman, Dan Hooker. That's all you are. Whenever Volkanovski or Adesanya headline a pay-per-view, you try and slide in and create a name for yourself, and you've dyed your hair blonde. You look like a twat. I'm going to be honest. That hair does not suit you. Go back to your normal hair, win some fights, and then maybe you can start trashing other people, calling people disrespectful and saying they use steroids. But Dan Hooker, it's not a good look. It's not a good look, man. Wake up, bro. Next thing we're going to rant about, is it just me or have we had like an insane amount of pullouts recently? We've had 3 pullouts on UFC 290 and we've even had Cejudo pull out of UFC 293 or no, UFC 292. So I think in the order, first of all, it was Christian Rodriguez, who's coming off a win against Raul Rosas Jr. at UFC 287. He pulled out his fight. I think it was an injury. I wanted to see him come back, but he pulled out. Then it was then it was Henry Cejudo. He basically told us that he can't fight against, who was he meant to fight? Marlon Vera, because I think it was a shoulder injury or an arm injury. To be honest, that injury was a blessing in disguise, because I already said this in my first rant video. Marlon Vera does not deserve to fight Henry Cejudo. You've just lost to Sandhagen. You don't deserve to fight Cejudo. He should be fighting Umar, and Sandhagen should be fighting Cejudo. But either way, Cejudo's injured, so he's not going to be able to fight at UFC 292. Then we had Sean Brady pull out against Jack Della Maddalena, which was honestly JDM's biggest test at that point. Now JDM's going against a can that he's going to crush in 1 round. So I'm excited to see Jack Della Maddalena. I'm excited to see him back, but at the same time, it's not really... I think we're all expecting a win. I would have liked to see him go against Sean Brady, who was once a massive prospect. Back before the Bilal Muhammad fight, he was undefeated prospect. I mean, he would have probably got TKO'd by JDM. If you get TKO'd by Bilal Muhammad, you're going to get TKO'd by one of the best boxers in the UFC or best strikers in the UFC. And then just yesterday, we had Trezean Gore pull out against Bo Nickel. I still don't know why. I assume it's just an injury. Bo Nickel's now fighting a Gardner. But Bo Nickel's going to steamroll through his opponent pretty quickly. I know he's like a 7-0 in the UFC, the guy that he's fighting, or 7-0 full stop, but still, I just feel like there's a lot of pullouts recently, and it's kind of annoying me. I've been hyped to see Brady versus JDM. That doesn't happen. I wanted to see Christian Rodriguez come back. That doesn't happen. Trezeguet versus Bo Nickel. Again, another step up for Bo Nickel. I was excited to see Bo Nickel, this massive 4-0 prospect. When you say 4-0, it doesn't really seem like a good record, but I was excited to see Bo Nickel come back. And to be honest, after his last win against, who was it, Jeff Neal, I thought he was, I don't even know if his current opponent is a step up from Jeff Neal. I actually don't even know if his current opponent is a step up from Jeff Neal. So it feels like it's just 2 free wins for JDM and Bo Nickel. Christian Rodriguez ain't fighting. Cejudo's not fighting, but I'm not really mad at that. It's just, you know, I'm not really mad at that. I didn't really want to see Marlon Vera get that fight anyway. But yeah, there's just been a lot of pullouts recently, and it's not great. Final thing we're going to rant about is I feel like the robberies this year have been disgraceful. We've had so many robberies this year. Just some to mention. We've had Amir Albazi versus Kai Kara-France a few weeks back. Kai Kara-France 100% should have won that fight. I really want to see Kai Kara-France win again, but the judges gave it to Albazi. Even at UFC 286, I'm an English guy, right? I'm always going to support England because I'm EDL. I'm not really. Like, we've got UFC London in a few weeks. I can't wait for all the English fighters to smoke all the foreigners. But Lerone Murphy versus Santos. Lerone Murphy did not win that fight. I'm pretty sure Santos was undefeated, or he was pretty new to MMA. And I was watching that fight, and I thought Santos won. I thought Santos beat Lerone Murphy. I think he beat him in the striking department, and I think he beat him in the grappling department. I know that was a couple of months ago. When was that? April, March? But still, I don't think Lerone Murphy won that. I know this wasn't this year, but even Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon, another English fighter, one of the more popular ones. There's no way that Paddy Pimblett won that fight. There's no way Paddy Pimblett won. I don't think it. People were saying that, oh, it was a Jared Gordon. I think it could have been a split decision, but I still think it would have been a split decision to Gordon. I don't think Gordon absolutely battered him, but it was close. It was definitely close, but it was definitely a win to Gordon. But yeah, it just feels like we're having so many robberies recently. And I saw MMA Guru pick up on this. A lot of them are in the favour of the UFC. A lot of these robberies, you know, if the other fighter was to win, it wouldn't really make sense for it to be rigged. I don't know, man. There's just a lot of robberies recently, and it's not great. You know, these are fighters' careers. These are legacies. You know, that one loss on a record is going to stay there for the rest of their career. So these judges we need to get some new judges, man. And it annoys me as well when you look at like judges' scorecards, or when you look at like online websites where you can see like a selection of judges online, and pretty much every single judge online has scored it one way, but then the judges in the UFC have scored it another way. Maybe it's different in person, but there's just been a lot of robberies recently. I can guarantee there's going to be a robbery tomorrow and the event after. And it's not even like there's some close fights and then there's a robbery. A lot of these robberies are like there's a clear winner and they give it to the other person. One that everyone seems to think is Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev. I said this in my last rant, or 2 rants ago, whatever. That was not a robbery. I genuinely think Islam Makhachev won that fight. I think sometimes people can yell the word robbery whenever their favourite fighter doesn't win. But in the case, there are a few cases, and they're becoming more frequent, where robberies are happening a lot, and it's nothing to do with it was a close fight. It might be close, but there will be a clear winner, and the judges aren't just giving them the win. That's just it. I'm getting this off my chest. Judges, you need to sort it out. Thanks for watching.